What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Meet My Beat. I'm Pretty Sister. Today we're going to get into the session for my song Flirting with Disaster. I wrote this one with my good friend Jesse St. John and Madison Love. They're amazing. Check out other stuff that they've done. Put some of that stuff in the description. The track for Flirting with Disaster is really, really simple. So this will probably be a shorter episode than usual because, as you'll see, we have a total of 5 drum tracks. So let's get into it. Kick drum. That's from a MPC, old MPC kick. And then there's just this wood. Not the click. I didn't even send it to reverb, or it's not going to any other compression. We have a closed trap. And that's the drums. The only time that there's a different thing is there's this. And that happens once. And then I think in the second verse, I just put it on a different track. I just cut the EQ a little bit to give the drums just a little bit of a different feel. So now it's just a little bit muffled. I added a few different tracks of chimes to give the last chorus a little bit of a lift. Da, 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 do, da, do. They seem like they linger for a little bit too long maybe, but I just wanted them to kind of just be like particles like floating around, if that makes any sense, is how I wanted the chimes to feel. There's no compression or EQ happening, any of these. We got our Rhodes. Obviously that's not it's not on the grid. I probably just played it. Feels good though. That's a contact plugin, and the only plugin I have on it is sample delay. I didn't even compress it. What am I doing? And then the guitar is just same guitar I always use, Fender Telecaster. I just put it through a surf preset in Logic that I use a lot. It just sounds really good. It's a little bit random. And the reason it's kind of that way is that I was in a session with Jesse and Madison, and I was producing in the room. I was working more on the track and they were working more on the lyrics and melody. I didn't want to halt the vibe. So I wanted to make sure that the track kept looping. I didn't want to be starting and stopping, trying to get this perfected guitar part. And so what I did was like, I put the loop, you know, up here, I put the loop on the whole track and just let it run. And then I just was like noodling on guitar, hit stop really quick, then hit play again, and then just comped anything that sounded good or wasn't like a sour note, and then just cut it out where like I wanted it to chill out a little bit. So like you'll see, like you'll notice here, like as we get into the verse, the guitar is missing.
Till I'm burning, cause I'm flirting with disaster. I met a girl, she named Good Judgment. She was about to keeping up with my lifestyle, cause I'm moving too fast. Met a girl named Good Intentions.
So that was the guitar. And then in the last chorus, I did another one, and they're just kind of overlapping. Let's listen. They kind of clash sometimes, but I don't know. It just felt good to me. So I just kind of left it. So we got this one, then this one on the left a little bit. I was really just kind of noodling, and that's what came out, but I think it works well together. So that's kind of all the top end stuff. And then we have this lo-fi bass, which is like a serum, super simple. It just is like the root notes, and there's some skips in it every once in a while. Really simple.
Was bad at keeping up with all
And then the only other bass in the song, there's a sub synth. It's just a mono synth in Logic, and it's just a sub. It's really, really plain. I wanted to add one little extra element, and that was a little extra low end in the chorus.
I met this girl named Disaster. I can't stop flirting with her. It won't be long till I'm hurting.
So a little bit more low end. Oh, I forgot one thing. House pad. This is a silent pad that I've kind of used in a lot of things, just perfecting it over the years. And what's happening, I have the cutoff automating. So it opens and closes. So like for instance, when the cutoff is all the way open, it's got that, you know, but as you pull it down, it's more muted, right? So as you pull it up, I have that automated to build. I just wanted to build tension. And what I like about it is that it's like totally like an electro sound, you know, it's not like an R&B sound. It's really kind of my electronic influences. As it gets more and more white noise centric, it kind of reminds me of like a James Blake thing or something that adds this like really tense. I think James Blake did something like that in Limit to Your Love. There's like this swelling pad that happens in the last chorus that I really, really always loved and always brought me so much tension. So yeah, so that's what that's doing. That sounds like this. Oh, there's also LFO tool on that so that it has the sidechain effect. It's the whole track. One keyboard part for the most part, one bass, and then last chorus we get an additional pad, an additional bass, an additional guitar track, and some chimes. One kick, one snare, one hi-hat. Cool. So then vocals. Main verse is just straightforward verse.
I met a girl, she named Good Judgment. She was bad at keeping up with
Usual suspects as far as compression and goes. So normal EQ is just roll off, bumping up like 6 to 8K. I must say that I've said this in like the last few that I've done. I've recently gotten a little bit more sophisticated in my vocal processing. I'm doing a lot more subtractive EQing now. I've actually like spent some time on trying to make my vocal chain better, but this sounded fine to me. It could probably sound better, I'm sure, if I had a mixing budget, but I don't. So I mix everything myself. But anyway, just a basic roll off, you know, below 200K and a basic boost starting around like 4K to 16K range. There's probably some harshness in there, but whatever. Then we have the R compressor doing about this much.
I met a girl, she named Good Judgment. She was bad
Subtracting about a dB.
Met a girl named Good Intentions, couldn't keep up my attention.
Then we got the R channel that's also boosting around 7 to 8K. We got the API EQ that's boosting 12.5K, about 4 dB, 1.5K, about 2 dB, 500K too. So those mid-range. This is just a lead vox preset though. It's an API EQ, which I really, really like. De-esser on the male preset, as you can see right here, right there. One I really like, it's just on the soft vocal. Fast attack.
Met a girl named Good Intentions, couldn't keep up.
Another de-esser Pensado preset on this Trans-X multi-band compressor. C6, and then let's see. I just have this for analyzer purposes. So for instance, you know, you do this and you have analyzer on and you can kind of see in a frequency kind of way, you know, what's boosting crazy and what's kind of doing what. So that's the only reason that's there. It's not doing anything else. And then as far as sends go, We have also had this little verb trail, which is kind of fun. Let's see. So all that is I took the first note of the chorus, the no, met this girl. Yeah, the first note of the chorus, it goes, I met this girl. And probably just the and I took that and put a lot of verb and echo on it, and then I print it or bounce it in place and then reverse it and then use it to go into moments so that you get this kind of like. I met this girl named Desiree. Right? It gives you like this foreshadowing of what vocal is going to happen. As far as sends go on the main, we have a small room verb, which is just space designer, just kind of giving us like a small snare room. Then we have a large haul, which is just a longer verb. 3 is a plate reverb. It's a nice plate, 1.3 second, nice plate. 4 is a delay. Let's see what the delay is doing. And I think this is on all the vocals, at least on the main vocals, on the chorus main and the verse main. This delay is a quarter note on one side and an eighth note on another. As you can see here, I kind of use these to cut the frequency of the delay itself. So this one, obviously I've cut a lot of low end all the way up to 1500 Hertz. So it just kind of gets out of the way, and it gives you kind of like the delay, like the vocal, the main vocal has like its normal effect. And then the delay itself has like a kind of telephone vibe. And I switched it up a little bit so that it was a little bit more high passed or whatever. Then 5 is an echo. Let's see what that guy's doing.
With disaster, girl named Disaster.
Then 4, we get the delay. Let's see.
I met this girl named Disaster. I can't stop flirting with her. I won't be long till I'm hurting, 'cause I'm flirting.
All right, and then now we get the echo.
I met this girl named Disaster. I can't stop flirting with her. I won't be long till I'm hurting.
So that's an eighth note echo. I have the color pulled back a little bit so that it's a little dark. It's a little bit darker sonically. It's not super bright, you know? And then doubler, just for to thicken it a little bit. We're only sending it slightly. And then 7 is a micro shifter to give it this kind of chorus, a little bit of a chorus effect.
Girl named Disaster. I can't stop flirting with her. I won't be long till I'm hurting, 'cause I'm flirting with disaster.
She does a lot. It actually kind of sounds like a super short, small room reverb, actually, is what it sounds like to me. Basically, it's just one main vocal, one lead high and one lead low, and that has the same processing on it. I think I have the doubler more on the low vocal.
Girl named Disaster. I can't stop flirting with her.
Oh, oops.
It won't be long till I'm burning.
I guess that just works when it's hidden in the mix, huh?
With disaster, I met this girl, she named Fire.
And then, yeah, that's the first chorus. And that's kind of the only song I've ever done where I just open with the chorus like that, which is kind of a cool thing for me. And then second chorus, we have these like little pre-chorus.
I'm living dangerous. I'm only living once. Love ain't fun without the change.
What do we have? Just a middle, left, right. Normally, I put vocals on like a bus so I don't have to use as many plugins, but I didn't on this one for some reason. It's probably because I didn't expect on there being this many vocal tracks towards the end, but even still, it's not that many. It's only like 20. Probably why I just like didn't bother making a bus and just like copy pasting it onto each channel separately. But that gets the same treatment as the main vocal. If anything, it probably just has a different EQ. No, it still has lead vocal EQ on it. And that's just a call and response situation.
She living dangerous. She only living once. Yeah. I met this girl named Disaster. I can't stop flirting.
Yeah, and then we get a little bit more happening here as far as backgrounds go, and we get this like kind of nice.
She only living once. Yeah.
Kind of not like a super linear harmony.
She only living once. always, yeah.
Weird harmony, but it feels nice in the mix.
She only living once, share a new pillow, yeah.
So now we get a little bit more stereo happening in the second chorus. Now we have just a left and right low octave added now. Instead of before, we just had the two middles, the middle high and the middle low. Now I have low left and a low right. Second verse, same thing.
With disaster, the girls are giving my heart to love and leave me, so they start to look amazing, but they taste the same. See, I like when they come over.
We've cut the snare a little bit, if you remember, just to get a different dynamic.
I'm only living once. Love ain't fun without the change. She living dangerous. She only living once. Share a new pillow.
Get this guy.
I met this girl named Disaster.
So now we get some more harmony stacks on like disaster, right?
Girl named Disaster.
Listen to the vocals by themselves. There's some fun harmonies in here.
I can't stop flirting with her. It won't be long till I'm hurting, 'cause I'm flirting with disaster. I met this girl, she named Fire. I can't stop playing with her. It won't be long till I'm burning, 'cause I'm flirting with disaster.
That's it. And as you can see, I cut around a lot. There was just like ones that didn't work and things like that. So I just muted them. I just wanted that to feel thick. And I kind of wanted it to be even muddy a little bit. I always really like how like D'Angelo does harmonies and you can't really pick them out. I'm sure he knows exactly what they are. I can't pick them out, but I love how that sounds. Like, you know, it's just really thick and muddy, but it sounds like there's some dissonance in there, but there's also like so much like gritty, dirty, just like harmonies that are like really close and kind of rub, and it just feels really good. And that's what I wanted the last chorus to sound like. And then the last thing is just this little guy. And I just took the vocal of me saying with disaster and I just put a little altar boy on it. I cut the high end so it's a little bit more muffled. Put a Space Designer directly on it and an LFO tool. And it's going through all the same, as you'll see over here, all the same buses as the other vocals. This is what it sounds. Let me just take this off so that I remember that it was bypassed.
With disaster.
Right?
With disaster.
Now, after. And that's it. That's Flirting with Disaster. It's a really simple track. I wanted to keep it as bare bones as possible because I wanted it to feel raw and I wanted it to feel emotional and I wanted it to feel like you were seeing in, right? And that's, I guess I kind of took that approach with the music video too, is like this voyeuristic view of almost like I shouldn't be privy to this information. It's kind of like a look into somebody's brain. All right, so that is my track, Flirting with Disaster. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, like, share with your friends. I would really appreciate it. And catch me next time on Meet My Beat.